like 7 games on town are like mediocre, except for one other good one.
Yeah, I think it's like at least in the meta right now, it feels you kind of have to counterpick Talon. Like I probably wouldn't blind him just because so many of the champs are so hard to kill. You know, there's like a lot of options for defense.
Right.
It's like if they want sustain, so that you can't quite get them low enough to all in. There's stuff like Catalyst, there's Bork, there's Hydra. There's just like so many ways to get like tankiness plus HP, and it just makes it real hard for Talon because Talon. He People always think that Talon can kill you 100 to 0, but only once he gets his first kill, you know? Like, before that, you
Right.
kind of have to get people down to at least, like, 60, and then you can get a kill. But yeah, getting that first kill, I think, especially in high-low, is really, really tough. But anyway,
Yeah.
let's
You have to do
look at
some
this.
crazy flash plays.
Yeah, if you can get, like, a level 2 flash, it's real nice. Okay, so versus Rumble, I would say, depending on how difficult you think this matchup is going to be, I would potentially change the secondary rune. So I'm down for Electrocute or Conk. Again, I think it's both better than Fleet. The only thing I might change is just because if you're ever versus a dot champion, so something like Cassio or Rumble that attacks you a lot, Second Wind is really good because you get multiple procs out of the ability hitting you. So
Okay.
I think you could probably get away with no Second Wind versus Rumble, but if you felt like, you know, you struggle with this matchup, then I'd probably just change your secondaries and go like Second Wind Resolve or something. I think it's real important that obviously, well, there's like two things that are important. One is that you're as greedy as possible, but also not so greedy that you're gonna die, right? Like if it's ever the difference between you dying or not, then you should just take Second Wind. But at the same time, if you don't need it, then it's really shit, right? So
Right.
you kind of just gotta. I guess it might just come with experience, but yeah, if you know this is gonna be really fucked, I would just take Second Wind. But let's
Okay.
not talk too much about runes because runes are for losers. All right, so Q start. Yeah, okay. So I like the Q start, but I think again the way you should be using Q as Kassadin early is mainly to help you farm because it's pretty difficult to set up a kill, especially on a champion like Rumble because he can just trade W
Right.
with your Q. If you do want to Q him, you should at least wait until this wave is like for sure pushing to you because the problem is again, this Q draws creep aggro, so if Rumble was smart, he could probably have this wave pushed to him now if he didn't attack it at all, and then you would be fucked because the wave would just be here and he would just like
Right.
zone you off the wave. So be really careful drawing creep aggro like that. Now it doesn't matter because he just flamethrown the whole wave, but it would be real nice to have Q here because part of the reason he's able to do this is because you don't have Q, right? Like if you want one of these creeps, you could probably walk up, Q him, and order the creep, or you could even Q the creep. But instead, it's like you used your Q, and all you really achieved for it was like a
Nothing.
non-existent amount of poke, right? Like it
Yeah,
doesn't
yeah.
actually matter. And I
I was
think,
kind of
oh, you go.
uh I was kind of trying to just see like how much damage it would do to him, to be honest with you.
Okay.
But yeah, that was a pretty brainless thing.
Yeah. So I think if Rumble's like real smart here and he just saves his flamethrower for when you're going for the creeps, like if we have a look here, right? Like your Q would still be on cooldown, and like right now he would have his Q, and it would just be impossible for you to get these creeps because you just take like way too much damage for it. Instead, like you're able to actually walk up and get them, but I kind of feel like you shouldn't have been allowed to do that. But it works out. But I guess like the real thing to be aware of is that I can't remember if we talked about like punishing cooldowns last time, like when people use them, but you also need to really respect your own cooldowns. And if your cooldowns get wasted and you like don't get anything meaningful out of it, it's really bad. Even if your opponent doesn't realize and doesn't punish you, obviously against better players, it just gives them more and more windows to punish you, basically.
Right. No, that makes perfect sense.
Yeah, I think it's one of those things that like once you're aware of it, it's so easy. You know, like once you realize it's a big fucking issue, you'll like really feel it when you mess it up. But before you're aware of
Right.
it and people just like spam cooldowns randomly, you kind of sometimes don't really understand why you're just like getting fucked randomly. And it's normally because you just wasted a bunch of cooldowns. But this looks pretty good. Like I think compared to the first replay we watched, by the way, this is so much better. You're like full HP, the waves have completely come to you, and like he hasn't really achieved anything. So this is like such a good start to the game. I think the other one you actually solo killed your opponent earlier, but I remember it was like pretty lucky that you
Yeah, it
got it.
was weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. He was like just walked right up to me
Yeah.
and just let me attack him all the way down the lane.
Yeah, I like that Q. Like I think a Q like that is fine because it's kind of to avoid damage, you know? Like, yeah, I think it's good.
Right.
This, I think, yeah. Eventually you're going to take some damage. There's nothing you can do about it. But you have like Doran Shield and TP, so it's all good. Okay, yeah, this is all good. So I think, yeah, if you did this trade because you're trying to set up for your jungler coming, then I think it's good. But I think if you're doing this trade without thinking about your jungler, then it's kind of bad. Basically, like, I don't know, if you consciously thought that, okay, I'm okay to trade some HP because my jungler is coming, then yeah, then this is good. But if you had just done this trade anyway without Kindred here, I think it would have been pretty bad because it puts you just like lower and lower, and I still don't think you really have kill threat onto him. Now, obviously, it's different, like, because your jungler's here, right? But I think it's
Right.
not really like what you want to do if Kindred's not here. Like, did you think about it, or did you just like do it randomly?
At the time, no, I saw he was coming, so I'm like, well, maybe I can try to chunk him a little bit, and then we get something good, and then
Yeah.
like at least we got his flash. But
Okay. Yeah. Well, I think
no, I
as
definitely
long as
did do
you,
it with
yeah, as long as you like somewhat
intent.
consider it, yeah, because just like, okay, let's just imagine that Kindred's not here. I think what happens is that like you, like, sure, you're getting like some damage onto him, but realistically, you were getting to the point where potentially he could kill you on the next trade with Ignite, and it doesn't really need to be like that because in matchups where you can't really kill your opponent, getting lower HP normally favors them. You know, even if you trade like 100
Right.
damage back, it's like, sure, you go both down to 50%, but like who's dying at 50%? It's normally not going to be
Right.
him. So, but now if your jungler is like, you know, nearby, you're looking for some setup like that, then a trade like that makes sense because you're just going to have your jungler, and yeah, you get his flash. That's like really good as long as you think about it. Yeah, this is a really good start. Okay, wave is pretty good.
I don't know why the quality on the screen share is really bad. Like it
Oh,
keeps getting really pixely, and now it's good again. But
huh. Okay, well if it goes bad again, I'll try to restart it, but actually, hold on, let me just restart it
okay,
anyway. Okay, yeah, I can choose source. Okay, tell me if it goes bad again, but that should be better.
okay.
Okay, yeah, this is good. Just last hitting waves in a super good spot. Yeah, this is a real good play so far. There's not much, no like big mistake, just small things, which is good because you can make tons of small mistakes, and normally it's like still fine as long as you don't make a real critical error.
Right.
Okay, so at around this point, I would probably think about a base. It kind of depends what Rumble's going to do. So the thing is, now, the wave is going to push back out to him. That's pretty unavoidable, just because the wave is, like, it's closer to your side, and
Slow
it's going to
building.
push, yeah. So if
Right.
Rumble decides to freeze this, it's going to be quite hard for you to push, because he's just going to have, like, an item advantage over you, and also he's a lot healthier. Now, if Rumble decides to push, because he makes a mistake, you can stay here and just, like, wait for chapter, or not chapter, like, you know, tier Dark Seal or Catalyst, or basically you can stay here longer if Rumble pushes this to you, but if he freezes it, then you probably need a base to break the freeze, otherwise you're just going to lose too much. So let's see what Rumble does. I guess the best case scenario is that he just lets you push it, which would be nice.
That was the
Okay, so he's like kind of pushing
double
it back to
CS
you.
miss.
Yeah, well, it happens. Okay, yeah, so he's not really doing much of anything, honestly. He's just kind of existing. Okay, and then you lose the flash. So,
That was bad.
yeah,
Yeah.
I think this
So
is
I'll
just...
tell you the thought process behind this at least. I was
Alright,
like, I
sure.
just want to chunk. He just based, so I want to chunk him a little bit, and then I'm going to recall and come
Yeah,
back, and
yeah,
then,
okay.
you know. But that was I didn't realize how much he could do that quickly.
Yeah, I like the
I
thought
was just a
process though. Like, I think if you can back it up with something like that, at least it makes it way easier to talk about it because at least you considered it. Because, yeah, I think you're right. If you can get a little bit of poke, trade your HP out, and then just fill it back up anyway, that's really good. And you're also level 5 or level 4. I guess it just, like, he just does a lot of fucking damage. Um,
oh yeah.
But yeah, honestly, this still isn't too bad because the thing is, like, you don't really need Flash and Kassadin as soon as you hit 6, and you just got his
Right.
Ignite and you didn't die. So even though it looks really troll, it's not horrible. Like, it's actually kind of fine for you, I think. Hey, base tier Dark Seal. I like it. And a pink. Oh my god. You're the king. King of itemization. Okay, push this wave in. Very nice. Wait, that guy chose to stay? What was he doing? I guess he was like walking top, but Gangplank wasn't even there. Oh, that's wild. I don't know what the fuck he was up to. Okay, do you know what I'm gonna say about this ward?
Yep, yep.
Yeah, it's real bad. The thing is, especially
That was
here,
a
you actually have a lot of time. Like, if you look where the next wave is, you actually have
yeah.
tons of time. Like, this could be really deep wars. I guess maybe not too deep just because you don't have flash, so if you run into the jungler, it could be bad. But yeah, maybe just like pink here and ward over the wall would be good, but that ward,
I'm tr
yeah.
I'm trying to remember exactly what I was thinking in this situation because I know that this game was a few days ago, so it's like I'm trying to remember exactly what was going on in my head, but
Hmm.
uh, maybe I was scared of the jungler being there. I don't know.
Yeah, I can maybe see that. Let me get the old Rift kit up because there's a couple things I want to show you. So, if if you're well, okay, first, wait, what was that jungler? I didn't even look. Do we know? Go back. 512.
Definitely pull up the scoreboard at some point.
Okay, it's an echo, so
Oh,
not
Echo.
not
Yeah.
super scary. Okay, so if you are scared of Echo being in this bush, then you can't really walk up in water either. Like you're just gonna lose a bunch of HP for it. So it's probably better
Right.
that if you're really scared to walk around this way, and that way you can like easily ward here, and then you can ward here on the way back, because that's like kind of safer, right? Like if you can ward this bush from inside this bush, which normally, or like
Okay.
from not quite inside it, but just like barely outside it.
Right outside.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so that's like kind of a safer way to go. Also, this is really niche, and you're not gonna probably encounter it until Halo, but if you place the pink in the middle of this bush, you don't see the jungler pathing through here. So you're still gankable through here. So when you ward this bush,
Place it
you
on the
always
edge.
need to ward the very edge. And it's the same with the other side. Like if you're warding up here, you need to pink on that edge. Otherwise, people can... This vision circle is like not accurate, but basically I know if you ward in the middle, you cannot see people going through there, and if you ward on the edge, you can. So that's really
Okay.
important. Because like obviously if you end up warding here, then it doesn't actually matter. But ideally you don't want to ward there. You want to like pink there and drop a deeper ward, and then that'll
On
keep you
Raptors or
safe.
something.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
Because I don't know if we can. You can kind of see it on the map here. There's like a little, sort of hard to see, but there is a little gap of fog of war.
I see that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's really annoying that it works like that, actually. It's because sometimes the jungler will pink it for you, and you're like, oh, I'm safe, and then you just get ganked through there. Oh, that shit pisses me off, but anyway, it happens. Okay, so I think this is... You're like reasonably safe, and you're about to hit 6. We hit 6 before him as well, which is nice. Yeah, okay, so you're in a great spot. Jungler nearby. Okay, yeah, I'm down for the dragon. Okay, so the ward, I like the ward. I think that's pretty good. The only thing I will caution you against is it can be scary to place both of your green wards at the same time. So obviously you had like two
I
green
had two
wards up, right?
stacks.
But the
Yeah.
thing is, if you do place them both, eventually you're gonna have like a really long downtime. Now it's not the end of the world on Kassadin, so like this is so nitpicky, it almost doesn't matter, but it's normally better to try space the wards out just so you have permanent coverage rather than having like, really strong coverage for a short amount of time and then nothing afterwards. But yeah, I don't know, that's really nitpicky. I wouldn't worry a whole lot about it. Um,
Okay.
I'll just write it down for you though, because I think these are things that... Oh wait, where'd my other notepad go? That's where I had it. Oh, there it is. These are things that while they might not be a big issue for you yet, if you want to go like really high rank, they'll be pretty important. So, let's see. We could, I guess, like trading win conditions. Like, do I actually want like to trade evenly? And I think also like cooldown usage. A lot of it just like try not to use it randomly. Ideally, you have like a purpose behind every single cooldown you use, but I don't think that's realistic to have one for literally every single cooldown. But in the perfect world, like you would, right? If you were the best player in existence, you would have a reason for everything you did. So I think, yeah, just trying
Right.
to think about it a little bit is good. Maybe a little bit of warding, just like, yeah, warding. I think again it can be further out. If anything, just try not to ward that side lane bush. Um, pink, the left side of the dot bush, and also try not to, I'm going to say stack wards, but what I mean is, yeah, just like try not to use the two
Place both.
yellows. Yeah.
Okay.
And I think that's, yeah, I mean, so far the early game's looking real good. Like 41 CS in a matchup where you verse like an Ignite mid laner that's very strong early, and you hit 6 before him, I think you're in a really, really solid spot. Now, I do think here this is kind of a mistake. So you don't add anything to Baron or to Dragon. Like you add such little DPS that you might as well just not be here. And you really,
Right.
really don't want to give up creeps for this. Even giving up like 1 creep for this is not worth it. Instead, you come here and like you lose half your health bar, and you probably lose like 3 creeps mid for like no reason. Oh yeah, no, that's so bad.
Yep.
And
2.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's really bad just because it's unnecessary. And another thing is like they get more information by you not showing than you showing here. Because if you just show mid, they don't know 100% that you're on drag. If you're not on this mid wave, where can you be except dragon? Like they know you're doing dragon. So that means that like if you don't show mid, Gangplank probably dies because, or at least he should die, because this is like a stacking wave. Rumble can just push mid and go top, and then Gangplank's dead.
Oh,
But if you contest mid, Rumble shouldn't be able to go top, and so then it's just a 2v1, not a 3v1, and they might not know where Kindred is. So this kind of comes back to that, like, the mid wave is so important. Like, the mid wave is almost the only thing that matters at this point in the game. You, like, have to get the mid wave over and over, and if you're not on the mid wave, you need a really damn good reason. Getting wards is a pretty good one, but hitting dragon is... It's not. It's really not. So, yeah, try not to do that.
Okay.
If you do want to do this, do another wave. Just as like a general rule, you kind of want to be making whatever play you're going to make before this wave is at the tier 3 tower. So, like, let's just say this wave had just spawned. Maybe then you have time to come hit dragon and come back. But by the time you're actually going... In fact, by the time you're even ready to hit dragon... Yeah, it's like already there.
Yeah.
So, yeah, general rule, try make plays before wave hits the tier 3 tower. Again, this is hard on Kassadin because you don't have a lot of wave clear early and you're melee, so you can't hit the wave from far away, and that's why Kassadin sucks at like roaming and stuff early game, right? Like he's just not built for that. But you are built for scaling like a madman, and if you give up random creeps like that, you won't scale as well as you should.
Slow that down.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay, here I would maybe be a little hesitant, or no, I think here I would just think like, is this prior going to do anything for me? So what I would be thinking is, okay, I have a lot of vision bot side, so you do feel reasonably safe, but if you don't roam or do anything with this wave, you're probably just better off keeping it in the middle, just because it makes it a bit safer for you, just in case you get like echo ganked. Because I think if you push this in, I'm not sure what you can really do with it, and I feel like it just makes you a little bit vulnerable. Like, yeah, okay, this, for example, if you're ulting forward with no flash, like, you're probably still safe. In fact, you just saw Echo, but you're probably safe as long as you can run to bot side. But in theory, pushing up the wave this far is kind of risky, and I think you achieve the same thing with the wave in the middle. Like, if the wave is just dead center like this, and you're just last hitting, if Echo shows up there, you still get there before Rumble. It's just like, you gotta remember that every time you push a wave, it's like you've got to use the priority for something. Otherwise, you're just making yourself more gankable. You're making the enemy mid less gankable, and you're giving them free farm basically. So,
okay,
I don't really like this that much.
Oh, the quality. It's doing that pixelated thing again.
It's real weird. Did it do this last time?
I don't know. No, I didn't at all.
Okay, maybe I could try sharing the window instead of the screen. Then you won't see the nodes. I'll just try that. Let me... You won't see my mouse either, but we can try to figure that out. And let me know if it happens again. Then I guess it won't matter. You can see this, right?
Yeah.
Okay. But yeah, obviously
I can see your mouse too.
Oh, wait, really? Oh,
yeah.
That's broken. Okay. Well, yeah, so I think this roam is... Yeah, it's real good, I think. Like, you... Regardless of whether or not this wave is pushed, like, you can always come here. If this guy's level 5, you get a kill, so that's amazing. I think now pushing is probably fine, because this time there's actually something to push for. So if we go back,
Looking
Like,
for a recall.
yeah, it's like you can look recall, or you can like facilitate Kindred invading or something. Like at this point, Kindred's not doing anything, right? Like she's just clearing her own jungle. But like now,
Yep.
if you push, Kindred might enter the river. Okay, she went to her Krugs, but okay. Yeah, but like you said, it's like you can recall. There's like lots of things you can do here. So base kick, blasting wand. Oh yeah, blasting wand crystal. I like that. It's very powerful. Now, at this point in the game, when Herald's up, I think you might as well just push waves anyway. I don't think freezing does too much for you. Yeah, I think this is all good. Echo was near mid. Okay, I mean, I think that trade's pretty good for you, honestly. Like, I think you probably have higher kill threat at this point than he does. What the fuck? Wow, that Rumble ult was ambitious. Jeez, man, that was like not even on the
Yeah, it
same
was
screen.
yeah.
Okay, so
Unfortunately I still died.
I
Should
think
have
you
probably
should.
ulted over into Raptors or something.
I think
I
the
don't
whole
know.
thing is kind of weird. So, I think the first alt is probably the first ult is arguable. I think it might be better to ult this way, but I can definitely see why you'd ult this way. The second one though, I think really isn't. I think you're right. You either just ult over Raptors or you keep going that way. I feel like you probably get chased down by Echo Yumi if you go up. But like those are
Right.
your two options. Going this way is just never an option, pretty much. Like, yeah,
Yeah.
this is
It was
never gonna
just
work.
suicide.
Yeah, and I also think that there is an element of trading when the enemy jungler is near you is risky. So if you do this and it's like, okay, you've taken the trade, now you're low HP, now you need to be like very careful. You know, I think the fact
I,
that
yeah.
you're kind of like,
It's annoying too, because like look at the river. Like I feel like we're outnumbering them here. I'm like, if a pure numbers game, we're gonna win this fight, right? But then
yeah,
it's like they just never show up. I guess my position was terrible too, so like I can't like
yeah,
sit here and
I think
blaming
you
my
can
team,
like
but
wait a bit
it was
longer
like
and
a
then that might be
huge,
true. Like if you, because like right
huge false
now,
sense of security.
yeah, yeah, I definitely see that. Like, yeah, it looks like Lux Kindred are in river, but then Kindred goes back to Grom and Tristana's roaming up. Even like Tristana shouldn't be coming either. She should be pushing the wave. So at best it's like a 3v3. And to be honest, it probably is a 3v3 that you guys win. But once Kindred goes back, like I feel like this is just it's really greedy, basically. You're just like risking the whole game for this
Yeah.
one cannon creep. And I mean, it sucks to lose a cannon, but it would really suck to die. And also, another thing is it really sucks to give Echo a kill with Yumi. Like, that's one thing. Sometimes you can die to the enemy jungler, and it's actually not a big deal. Like, if you die to a Sejuani or something, like, it puts you behind, but it doesn't really matter too much if she gets ahead. But this is, like, not only do you fall behind, they have, like, a unstoppable carry with Echo, or with Yumi, and now it's just, like, that guy is gonna get really fed this game. It's gonna
Right.
be tough. Okay. Okay, yeah, I like that. Pathing Bob, but they came, so it's fine. I don't... Yeah, I don't really think this is good. I think, again, just, like, look at the wave. Like, the wave is already here. It's not at the tier 3. Like, the next one's already here. So you should be clearing that wave before you come make any play. Especially because it's a cannon wave. Like, even if you come up here and do something, you are giving up a cannon wave for it. And the thing is, if you come up here and something doesn't happen immediately, then Rumble just pushes this cannon wave under your tower, and then you have to go back, and suddenly Rumble can make the play. So yeah, this is
Right.
like a real bad habit I'm seeing now. Is you really gotta, unless the wave is like way further back. I'm talking like, let's just call this mid laner as the wave. So you're roaming a lot when it's here. It really needs to be like back there when you're moving. And ideally, you clear the wave earlier. And one thing you can do is if you don't have enough priority to clear the wave, like let's say the wave is here, right? And you don't have enough time to like push up and clear the next one, or you don't have enough time to roam on that one. What you can do is you can just like stay, and then when the next one comes out, you just like clear it really early. Does that make sense? Like rather than walking up here, you just like start hitting the next wave already, and that way you'll push that one
Okay.
super early. So
Okay.
basically it's like when you don't have enough time to use prior, you can get super prior on the next wave instead, just by like, yeah, pushing the wave early basically. I don't know if that does
So
that make
you
sense.
hold it.
I
I
might
think
have
so, but you
uh,
hold it in the middle, and then it stays in the middle, but you're the last bit of their wave is dying as the next part of their wave is showing up, but it's still in the middle, and then you just push the 2 or 3 waves in.
Yeah, you can if you can get it in the middle, it's probably the best because that makes it the easiest to access, especially for a melee champ. But ideally, you just like move up as far to the tower as you can. Like let's say, let's just get rid of this. Let's say this is you, right? Let's say normally you clear a wave up here and then you go prior. Instead, you might want to like wait right here and then start killing the wave all the way up here. You know, like you don't actually have to wait for it to come out to the middle. You can be like hitting it 5 seconds earlier, and that 5 seconds is a difference between that mid wave being like at this tower or being at this tower. What I'll do is
Right.
I'm just gonna write a little note to I'm just gonna put practice tool at the end just so I can show you like in an actual thing with waves because it's I feel like it's kind of hard to explain on there, but I'll come back to it at the end. Okay, yeah, so you're kind of losing creeps here for free, or not for free, but yeah, it doesn't feel that great. This should be a kill. Okay, yeah, that's good. You should pay quite a lot for this though. Like obviously it's still good. Like if you can guarantee get a kill like this, I probably would. But honestly, the chance of you getting this kill is fairly low because I think that like they have their jungle right here. So the fact that you can kind of just like end up walking around them is honestly kind of lucky. And then also Rumble should take a lot more from you. Like this is a cannon wave, which normally means he can take at least one plate. He might feel scared of Kindred, which is like possible. But I think here it's like you're probably losing about 300 gold mid, and you end up having to like flash. So it's a very low percentage outcome. I feel like at least you get some top farm, but you guys did lose a fair amount for it. Okay, I like committing to the tower though. There's no way you get the bot play in time, and also like you're not that strong yet anyway. So that's good. Oh my god, a Rod of Ages already. It's feeling good.
Yeah, it's games like this, and I'm like, man, I'm sure I could pinpoint exactly where I lost, but I don't think I've watched this replay in depth until now. I glanced over it because I'll play like 3 games and I'll glance over like key deaths or whatever, but I don't do like in-depth replays on every single game.
Yeah, I think that's a good way to do it anyway. I think watching the whole replay at a time is, especially if like you're watching your own,
It's exhausting.
Yeah, it's pretty hard to actually get everything out of it. Like whenever I watch, I can't remember if I was telling you or telling someone else, but whenever I watch a replay through, I always like, you know, I just watch the laning phase, or I have like specific things I'm kind of looking out for. Another thing that I just like noticed is that normally on Kassadin, you max W second if you max E first. Like the only reason you put points in Q is for lane. So if you don't end up putting points in Q for lane, then you might as well just max W second anyway. So yeah, that's like
well,
I've
never done that, but I'll start doing that.
Okay, yeah, it's like super broken. It does a fucking crazy amount of damage. Kassadin specific. You can either E, W, Q, or you can Q, E, W. But I think this build is so much better. It does so much more damage. Okay, now for the actual fight, oh, you go.
I was gonna say, when would you build like Crown or Ludens instead of Roa? Like,
I don't think I'd ever build it now. Like Roa is so good on Kassadin. It's just like made for him. I don't think I'd.
Yeah, especially the free level once it hits 10 is like so nice.
Yeah, yeah, especially because like late game, it starts taking quite a lot of time to actually get those levels. It probably saves you like 3 or 4 minutes of time, honestly, for like getting 16.
I played a game. I was top lane because I got I guess auto-filled top, and the guy didn't want to trade mid with me, so I went top, and it was Vladimir top, thankfully. So, but he ended up being ahead like 2 levels, and by the end of the game, I was level 17, and everyone else in the game was level 13.
Oh, it actually feels so good when you're over leveled and you just like just destroy everyone with your base stats.
Yeah. Everyone was like, my teammate was like, am I pinging me? They're like, how the fuck are you 16 already? They're like level 11. Like, I don't know, honestly. Like just catching every single wave. And then taking jungle farm too.
Yeah, that is the Kassadin special. Okay, I don't think there's anything you could have done there. So that's all good. Okay, I think here I would I think I would probably go Merc Treads here. So it's up to you, but there is like a fair amount of AP damage and CC. There's like Yumi ult, Echo W, like those are the two big CCs. And also like they've got triple AP damage. So I think Merc Treads get a lot of value, but Sorks are fine too. Like it's definitely close. So I don't really hate it, but just I guess maybe think about Mercs here as an option. Don't just like
Okay.
autopilot Sorks every game. I mean, you know, it's a fine Sorks game too. Let's see. I think this is the same thing over and over again. Like you need to do the midwave first before you do this, because like if you do the midwave, you can kill the midwave pretty quick now. Like you have a lot of wave clear. Probably takes you like 5 seconds to do this, and then you can either
Right.
be like, okay, if they're making this play and your team can get out, I can take plates, or plates are about to die, but maybe you can take the tower. But at the
I
very
get
least,
11
they
off
lose
this
like
wave too.
yeah, they lose 100 gold. You get 11. It just like looks way better. Instead, you're coming without pushing the wave, and now like yeah, now you just kind of like lose stuff for free. So I think you don't care enough about the midwave basically. And if you die here, that would be tragic. Oh my god, you got out. But that was yeah, that was really fucked. So I'd say that's the biggest
Okay.
thing to take away from this. You gotta care about the midwave way more.
Yeah, that was pretty questionable.
Holy shit, you're a lot stronger than that guy. Holy fuck. Oh my god. This champ, man. Okay. So, like this priority, for example, I think if you decide really early what you're gonna do with this priority, like right now, then it's probably fine. Because like you see the wave, it's pretty far back on the map. You have like a lot of
It's at
time,
the
right?
third one.
Yeah. But here you kind of
Right.
waste a lot of time. You like spin around in circles a bit because you're not sure. You walk up to the tower and then you're like, okay, maybe now I'll come to the top side. But the problem is, in my opinion, sort of too late now. Like I'd be you can look at this, but I'd be keeping an eye on this midwave and being like, okay, if someone comes to push this, which they are now, I'll probably turn around. Okay, this guy's kind of trolling. I mean, yeah, it's good. I think it's just like she should be running here, and also I think maybe that Gangplank and Kindred would just kill her without you. I mean, it is good. You get a shutdown. Maybe this one isn't so bad because someone's not here to push it at the start. Like, can you get back in time? Kill this guy. Yeah, actually, I think this one's maybe fine. I think you probably do have enough time here. Like, given that Sivir shows up too late, like maybe I'd be thinking like, okay, if Sivir showed up really early, you probably turn around and save that tower. But if Sivir shows up late like she does, you can probably clear this. But right now, rather than hitting this wave, you need to be running like straight back mid because you want to try lose as little of that wave as possible. Instead, you're just like sharing all your gold with Gangplank, and now no one collects that mid wave at all. See? So yeah, obviously
Yeah,
there's going to be exceptions sometimes, but I guess just like start
that was just
thinking
bad.
about it. Yeah. Yeah, because that actually did end up being pretty bad. Even though, like, you actually got, like, the best possible outcome top of getting a kill and a shutdown, but you still lost, looks like 2 waves mid and the tower. So it, like, ended up kind of bad. But I think you could have recovered it if right after you killed this guy, you just, like,
Go
started...
bot or go mid
Yeah, you
right
just,
now.
like, sprinted it back mid. You could at least save the tower, which is, like, most of the gold. So, that'd be nice.
What if I was better at stealing CS and I got that cannon? No.
Well, if you could get Gangplank to TP mid, I'd be fine with it.
No,
Yeah,
yeah. That looking at it now, that's just there's no way to justify staying there.
yeah. Or if you could get if Gangplank held his ult and could ult the mid wave, something like that. Just like yeah, it's just real inefficient overall. Like at least you got gold out of it, which is good,
Okay.
but you still want Gangplank to get gold too. Obviously, you'd prefer to have it, but oh fuck, how the hell did this happen? Okay,
He chased me for across the whole fucking map.
yeah, I think yeah, this is a really greedy play. I think this is more you not keeping track of your teammates. I think I'm pretty sure we brought this up last time in the mid game. I actually can't remember, but tracking like people in mid game is like really important, and just like seeing what they're doing, like both your teammates and the enemy team. Like right now, if we take stock of your team, like both your top and jungle want to recall. So the only reason they're staying is pretty much because like you're playing really aggro, right? Like the Gangplank's recalling, the Kindred's moving back to recall, but you want to do something here. And your bot lane also is just like nowhere near you. Like they're on the complete opposite side of the map. And I think if you like
Right.
pause this in a freeze frame, obviously it's like hard to think about it in the moment. If you pause this, it's like, okay, no one's showing bot. They've got one person mid. Like, where are their other three members? Kallista's dead. Okay, where are the other two members? If they're not bot,
They're all leashing red buff.
yeah, exactly. They're leashing red buff, right, guys? And then no, they just end up showing up and kind of yeah. So I think this just
Waves
doesn't make
flash and then
sense.
die. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
really bad.
it's
I
like
think this is probably where I lost the game. Like 4-1 Kassadin, instantly game over. Like huge shutdown for Echo. They're hyper carry. I die. I lose like 18 waves mid. I'd be level 16 by now. Like
yeah,
I think all of this is just atrocious. It's so bad. And
yeah.
then like my path in there too. I could have got away if I just pathed a little bit better.
Yeah, I think so too. Like you could ult early, you know, like over that wall and walk up, or you could just like use
Yeah,
your ult
and I'm
now and
gone.
keep going. You probably just didn't expect him
I,
to
honest,
chase
honest,
you.
no, I didn't expect him to keep chasing me. I'm like, why is this guy still here? This is insane. And then
Yeah,
yeah, and then Kindred ult like,
yeah,
thanks, buddy.
it's really tragic.
Close.
Yeah,
It's like 1 millisecond too late. Obviously, that was completely my fault, not his. But it
yeah.
would have been super clutch if he saved my life there.
Okay, come bot wave. Have TP in 13. Okay, so we should be able to get quite a lot done on bot wave. And they showed top. Okay, so this is looking good. This is a lot of money down here. I think this is like sort of same thing as before. So this looks like it's about to be really good for you. Like Kindred is pathing down and your bot lane has priority. You probably just need to wait for your Kindred to come down and for Gangplank to be pressuring the map. But I think you're making the play too early. Like you see one, you see two, but you don't see the others. And you're like ulting forward when Kindred is on the way. Like I think you just need to wait, you know? It's kind of the
Yeah,
same thing where you like went on Rumble mid really early. You need to just be a bit more patient because the way you're playing this kind of feels like you're on the clock, but it's like the other way around. Like this is fucking Callista and you're Kassadin. You know, it's the other way around. She should be the one that's trading like a psycho, and you should be the one that's just like
right.
waiting for them to mess up basically. So
Just no thanks. Yeah,
yeah. I think that the reason this probably happens is again because I think you're not really thinking about where like your team or their team is, but also yeah, like you can afford to be patient. You don't really need to force stuff like this. I think you probably just thought you were fine because it was a 1v1, or at least you thought it was a 1v1, but just like again, if you like pause and look at the map, there's like enough clues to know that this is like a little risky. And this is something you can do if you ever review your own games. It's like when you have a death like this, rewind like 15 seconds and pause, and a lot of the time the map actually tells you the information. It's just like hard to read it at the moment. Like
right.
yeah, because like here it's like okay, Gangplank's off the map. You've got two people showing mid. Kindred's coming soon, but like they're not showing mid. They're not showing top. So like where are they gonna be? There's a good chance they're bot. Or the answer might be that you don't know, and in which case like you know maybe if you're playing an early game champion, you need to take the risk. But here you like really don't need to, right?
Right.
Okay, I like the TP. I think that's good. Gotta kind of keep the tempo up. Take the Gromp. And the blue, okay. Getting nice and fed. Where did Kindred die? Oh, she just got like murdered by Callista. That sucks. I think here, drag is gone in my mind. Like Kindred's dead, so I'd just be focusing on pushing out waves. So like coming here again, it's just like wasting time. You should just be farming bot wave instead. Wait, who is this?
Okay.
I don't think you kill this guy, do you? No. Yeah, now you're like really fucking low. And also a lot of this wave died. Like if you just pay attention to the minimap the whole time, there's actually like a pretty big wave down here, but it just like slowly dies on your wave here. And by the time you get to it, it's only 3 creeps. And that again is just because you're just kind of like roaming. You pretty much always want to just like push and then move. Just 99% of the time. Unless like again, you have that just perfect time. Like they're all 1 HP or like you can just get a bunch of kills if you move. But otherwise, every time you do this and make a mistake, it just puts you further and further
So
behind.
that I would be willing to bet a large sum of money that most games that I lose, you can notice that more frequently than not.
Yeah, probably. You're
Just pour
definitely
roam
not
time in and
alone
miss your
in that.
waves.
There's so many people that do that. It's, yeah, really big or really bad habit, I guess, just like across the game for people.
And it's just not something that I was like consciously thinking about. I'm like, okay, I shoved the wave. Like, who cares where the next piece of it is? Like, I just shoved. Okay, it's a green light to go do something. Instead of, is it or is it not really time to go do something?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I like this one a lot better because like this has already been pushed quite far. So it's eventually going to bounce back to you anyway. And also this looks way better because at least you have a flank. Now it
Right.
still might not work out super well, I'm not sure. But it's definitely going to work out, well, I was going to say better
That
than the
was
last
so
one.
bad. I
Okay.
was like, just gonna greed for it because I'm dead already. I was like, how the fuck did she not die there? I guess she spell
Yeah,
shielded my last Q.
it kind of looks good now before your teammates have died. Maybe right here when you notice Lux is like they're kind of dead. Maybe now you just go back bot and take this tier 2 tower. But it's tough because actually, I don't know. Maybe I don't hate the decision. I think maybe you're just like not as fed here as you should be. Because if you could one shot this Sivir, yeah, I
I thought that
mean,
I could.
yeah, no. If you were just a tiny bit more fed, like if you had one more level, that guy dies there. Or if you'd max W instead of Q, that guy dies there. And then suddenly, like you can just walk away. In fact, you might just kill Kalista afterwards. But because that happened, yeah. Oh my god, it's so insane to see like those little inches add up. Like you're just a bit too
I
weak.
know.
It's just yeah, real close. I think it's
So
I think it's a fine
painful.
decision. If you want to be really selfish, you probably just don't go at all. Push bot and take the bot tier 2. It's up to you, I guess. Because I think if you take bot tier 2, you're probably giving up Baron for it. So, yeah, I feel like you only do it if you're like really fucking selfish and you're certain you can carry the game with that gold. But I like the roam. I think you're just a bit too weak.
It's crazy too, because like I'm level 15 and Lux is level 8. Like
Yeah.
it's like I feel like I'm so ahead of everybody, but really it's just our team is like very far behind.
Yeah, I mean, you are like, I would say you're ahead of everyone in the 1v1, probably. But there's going to be no 1v1s because you're just, your team is so behind, right? Like, it's always going to be 1v2, 1v3. Or like, you might have to
Right.
fight Echo with Yumi on him or some shit, which is not going to be easy. Okay, you look for TP, but you decide to keep going like that. Okay, good GPR. They probably have to get off it. What? They're still doing it? I guess they have Yumi. Ah, fuck that chair, man. It just fixes everything. You just have sustain, scaling, movement speed.
Oh yeah, it's crazy.
Oh my god. Oh, if you're a gang player got that, I admire the attempt. I think that's actually the correct play. So yeah, I think it's good. But the game looks pretty fucked, honestly. I think you guys might just be a bit too behind. Okay, you got a big shutdown, and you're about to get Rabadons. Died.
Greeting
Oh yeah, I guess
big
you
hard.
saw Echo.
I'm like, I got 16, it's go time, like nobody can kill me. And then what do you
Holy
know?
fuck,
I
yeah. I
he
mean,
can kill me.
you've given this guy, like, if you remember, you gave that guy, like, his first kill, and you also gave him another kill. Like, it's very possible that regardless of the other mistakes you made, if you just hadn't given that guy that first kill, like, you might very well be winning now. Because he is kind of 1v9ing, like, him and Echo, or him and Yumi. That's real annoying. Like, junglers,
Yeah,
carry junglers, snowball so hard with the kill. It's ridiculous.
yeah,
Especially champs like Echo, because they have a bounty, but like, can you realistically kill an Echo? Like, no. It's like, sure, he has 1k
right.
gold if you kill him, but there's just no universe you kill him, so it just doesn't matter. I really hate that because I think a lot of like mids are just like way easier to kill when they've got 1k gold compared to a like an Echo or a Kane or some shit.
Didn't Faker make a comment about the bounty system recently?
I hope so. Maybe
I
something will
heard,
change.
I think, yeah, someone said that like Faker made a comment or something recently, and I don't know exactly. Yeah, I thought I just won that for sure. I don't. This is
Yeah,
just bad.
she has wits end, so she has 100 MR, which is real rough. Like if you fight people with MR and you don't have Void, that's real tough. Like maybe I don't think Void second is better or Void instead of Rabadons is better here because I don't think anyone else has
I do
MR.
that if I check and there's like a bunch of Merc treads or someone has like a Spirit Visage or something, I'll definitely go Void instead
Yeah.
of Rabadons. But like in this case, like I don't even really realize like, oh, Wit's End gives 100 MR. Like that's insane.
Yeah, well, it's just like I guess she is what like 50 base, and then I don't even know how much Wits End gives. I think it's like another 50 or something. But yeah, it's like
Oh,
basically when
okay.
people have like one MR item, they just end up with a shit ton. Like here, 107 MR on top of having 3k health. That's real hard to kill, obviously.
Yeah.
And she has lifesteal, so she's just kind of built for 1v1. But I think that death is pretty irrelevant, if I'm honest. Like the game has already been decided. Like if you manage to win
Yeah.
now, it's just if they
Lux has been AFK since that death mid was coming in on that flank.
That's rough.
I think it was lost regardless, but still, it makes it a lot harder. But the carry, just giving gold to Echo, definitely, I think, is the reason the game was lost.
Yeah.
And then that was dumb.
Yeah, I think this, if you, like, obviously the game's
I
over,
think
so
this
it's
was
whatever.
desperation.
Yeah, if you do want to do this, I think finding a flank to do it is better just because it makes it a lot harder for her to just, like, instantly be able to kind of, like, react to everything. Like, I'd maybe try and walk down that way, but yeah, I think it's pretty
I
hard to
don't
make
know.
anything work at this point.
Yeah,
Okay,
it was rough.
so let's see. So I guess like from this VOD at least, the biggest things to work on. Well, the easiest thing is like the Kassadin W second. Like I think that's super easy to fix, and it actually will make quite a big difference. I think second thing is like just like how important like waves are. Like pretty much 99% of the time, 97%. Wait, I can't speak. 99% of the time, push before moving. I think that's just like a real good habit to get into, and it'll help you like most of the time. Again, like if you see a free kill, like sure you can give up the wave for it, but yeah, you always got to consider that, I guess. And the earlier you can push the wave, the better, because it just means that you can do stuff. And that's why if you can like leave lane by the time the wave hits the tier 3 tower, that's ideal, because that means that you have like the most time to do stuff. Maybe a little bit of like the cooldowns. This, I don't know, actually, I'll take it off. It was a thing, but I don't think it's like the biggest thing you need to work on. And it only happened like a couple times. Don't have enough time to use prior. Oh yeah, we'll talk about the super prior thing in practice tools, so I'll just write that there, but we'll expand on it. And then in the mid game, I think, yeah, you really need to start like tracking enemies and teammates in mid game. Again, you don't need to
Okay.
know exactly where they are. Just try and like assign like a side of the map to them. Like, is Echo top side or is Echo bot side? Like, you don't need to pinpoint exactly where they are, and that's a big mistake I made when I was like sort of new to the game. Is, you know, people would always say like, oh, you need to really know your jungle tracking and stuff like that, and I thought that meant that like you need to know exactly where everyone is, but in reality, you get like most of the reward of like tracking just by knowing which side of the map they're on. Like if they're bot side, okay, you need to be careful. If they're top side, you can be as aggressive as you want, sort of thing, you know. So I think that
Right.
is real important. And then like for the teammates, it's mainly just like, are they actually nearby to help me, or are they in base, or are they just like miles away from me doing something that, you know, they just like can't help you at all. So yeah, that's real important for that. And maybe yeah, a little bit of patience. It did come up like a couple times where it feels like you made a play, you know, really really fast and you don't really need to. So your enemies are on the timer, like not you basically. You just need to relax a bit. So let me get up the practice tool thing. But is there anything in here that you have questions about?
No, I think it's all pretty straightforward.
All right, let me
I think it's good, helpful information for sure.
wait. Yeah, I think this the super prior thing is really important, but it's kind of hard to explain without some waves. So I'll just open up a practice tool. Where's my league? Oh, there it is. 10 years later or whatever, and they still haven't fixed the league client. But it's getting there. Like, dude, I get this fucking thing every time I log in. This has happened to me the last like 3 months. They give me 3 honors
Oh, it's
Malzahar.
still showing
Yes.
showing the YouTube video.
Oh, wait, I'm dumb. I need to swap that to league.
What runs or drives me insane is like every time I load up my game, it's like so and so has opened their gift
Yeah, oh,
with like
yeah,
a
that's another one.
or their skin for Christmas.
Yeah, it's funny.
It's like it's told me 50 times now. I'm like I get it. Stop.
Okay. So let's just say I'm like a level, I don't know, like a level 7 Kassadin, with some points in E. I have like a tier and like a, I don't know, a rod. Maybe something like this, just because that's like sort of what you had. So, if we're paying, oh, you can see my end game, right? Just making sure.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, we really want to kind of like leave the lane before the wave, or around about like by the time the wave hits that point, right? So if you're on the wave and it's kind of too late, like let's say you want to leave now, you kind of can't do that. So what you might want to do instead is just like come mid. I'm just going to turn cooldowns on and like push this really fast. So let's say you come here and push it, but you don't have enough time. So like, yeah, let's just say we push this a bit slower. We just wait a bit. We're like, okay, now we come and look at the wave, and it's like, yeah, we don't have enough time to roam top at this point. So what we might instead try and do is get super prior on the next wave, which means, like, pretty much, we come up here, and rather than waiting for the wave to just come to the middle, we just start hitting it really early. Like, we just start hitting it all the way, like, back up here, and that means, like, you can leave this wave so early. Like, see how the next wave is just, like, you know, you have
Just now
so
spawning.
much time. Now, obviously here I'm like over leveled and I have a bit more AP. But basically it's like the concept is that if you can't do anything with the prior, you can just like wait somewhere. Like you can either wait in a bush like this, or you can, you know, even just like stand here and just be trying to hit this wave as soon as possible. Like if no one's here to contest you as well, you can literally be hitting the wave like this far up in the lane, and the wave is just going to be like mostly dead by the time the waves even meet, and you're just going to be able to leave the wave so early. Like again, coming back looking at this, yeah, looks pretty good. And this just gives you so much time to do whatever you want basically. And always like be paying attention on the mid wave like this. Like you can either go and click on it, or you can just look at the map. You want a really good idea of like what the mid
Okay.
wave is doing. But if you can like make your play right now, like let's just say you come up, you kill Callista, whatever, like your opponent, even if they hard push this, you should be able to get back here in time. Like by the time they push it, right? So if you can, yeah, if you can push it like real early like that, it's super broken, and that's why we call it super
Okay.
prior. Okay, so I'll log out of
I
that.
like that.
Yeah, it's real useful. It is a bit harder on melee champs, obviously, because generally you have lower wave clear and you can't hit the wave from as close, but there's still times to do it, right? Especially when you're like level 7, level 8, and you kind of have enough wave clear to kill the waves in time, I guess. Okay, so let me copy this to you on Discord. There we go. Okay, yeah, I think that's pretty much everything. I don't really have anything else, unless you have like any questions or anything.
Um, trying to think. I don't. Mm, specifically, not really. No, unless you wanted to look at like the first 3 minutes of that
Oh
Tryndamere
yeah,
game,
yeah, we
but
can
if
do
we
that.
don't have to.
Yeah, no, we can do that. Let me share this. That's League. Okay, so we got Doran's Ring, Electrocute. I mean, Doran's Shield, Electrocute. That all looks fine. Trin's pushing to you, so that's all good. A lot of the time people start W versus melees, just because like you can actually kind of trade back just a little bit with melees. Like if they go on you, you can W them. But here, I don't think this really makes sense at all. Like if you do want to start Q, the reason you're doing it is so you don't have to walk up at all. Like you just Q this from range, right? And then you never get in his range. Doesn't really make sense here because if you're against an AP champ, you can save Q and then like auto it and Q them and it shields you. But if you're against an AD champ, it just doesn't do anything, right? Because it's a magic
Right.
shield. So the way you play against melee or ADs rather is you would just Q the creep or start W, like that works too. Okay. I mean, like, yeah, this is all fine. I don't think there's much you can do about the wave being like that. This is the scary part where it kind of pushes back out. Yeah, this is like kind of your punishment for picking Kassadin if into an AD champ. So normally when this happens, you kind of just have to accept that you're going to lose a lot of creeps. If your jungler can come, you can ping them to help push this. But a lot of the times, like, junglers just like won't go near a Kassadin lane because you just can't do anything early.
Right.
Yeah, so I think though you're kind of, I mean, this is a hard counter because Tryndamere is not only AD, but he also scales quite well, and he's good in split push, so it is just like a pretty hard counter to Kassadin. I actually think you're probably just doing the right thing here. I don't think there's a whole lot you could do. Eventually, like once you've got a good item to buy, you could trade someone for HP and then, you know, go back and TP, but yeah, so far I think you're honestly doing fine. Welcome to this. I don't think there's much you can do there.
I don't either.
Well, that's annoying. Okay. Yeah. You probably TP back. At least you can look to freeze this. I think. You could have probably bought boots there as well. We could even buy a cloth armor, because you might want to rush Seekers. Oh, actually, now that there's Roa, you probably don't do that anymore. Yeah, I'd probably still just rush Roa. Maybe the boots
I've
is good
done that
though.
against like Zed.
Yeah, I feel like the Catalyst might just give you enough tankiness to the point where you don't need it anyway. Okay, maybe too many creeps to hold, so it crashes. Good thing he's pushing to you right now rather than like looking to freeze or something. Yeah, I don't know. I don't really have any problems with the early game. Maybe just like the Q usage really early, but other than that, it's like mostly fine. Like I think you're in like a relatively good spot for Kassadin versus Tryndamere, given that this is I would say one of the harder counters to Kassadin. Like I'd be thinking like Aurelia and Trin probably be my two worst nightmares. So like farm well, can 1v1 really well,
Oh yeah.
and yeah, they kind of always feel like they do good into you.
So that's all you do really is just kind of chill and just
Yeah,
wait.
I think this is your biggest mistake. Like same thing. Look at the giant midwave here. I don't think you can get to
Yeah.
this fight to do anything, and you can't give up that giant midwave. And like it sucks not being here, but again, that's like the price you pay for blind picking Kassadin, or maybe you picked Kassadin to Tryndamere. Hopefully you didn't because that matchup's really fucked. But yeah, like that's just kind of the reality. Honestly, Tryndamere is not a bad ban. Although there's a few AD champs, like, again, yeah, Zed, Talon, Aurelia, Trind, they're all kind of annoying.
Scion, I've been having trouble with Scion.
Really? Okay, I think Zahn's pretty
And
easy.
people are they're playing him mid right now. I don't know why. Well,
Yeah,
it's like I've played I think 3 games and I won 2, but I lost 1 really bad. And like ever since then I'm just like fuck that champ.
he just like spam pushed you in, or what?
Um I think I was probably it was towards the end of like a block, I guess, and he was just playing so much better than me. Like I was
Hmm.
missing CS. It's just like I was like, I just need to get off. But he like just rolled me because he died early. Like my jungler came mid early and he died, and then I didn't realize how much damage his zombie form did, and he
Yeah.
just 2-shot me.
Yes, it's fucked actually. The zombie form.
It does
Okay.
so much damage early. It's insane.
I swear it just does damage the whole game. Like it's crazy. Um. Okay, so like by the time you're roaming for this, yeah, I think this looks kind of good. Like the wave is reasonably far away. I do think you're roaming to a lane with somewhat inconsistent CC. Like it's pretty much Nami ult and Nami Q and Nami's level 5. So it's basically you're roaming to a lane with just Nami Q and it's a Tristana. So it's like very hard champ to gank. Plus you have basically no gank setup. I just don't think this ever really works. I mean maybe. Yeah, I mean actually to be fair, if Nami hit the bubble, It looks like Swain would have died. Okay, now if you make this play, you need to be really careful how much like damage you take, because if you take too much damage, you kind of just have to base straight after, right? And that's going to mean you miss that mid wave anyway. If you don't take too much damage, you
Right.
can still walk back mid and probably get some of the CS. So like probably right now, if you walk away, I think it's probably fine. But the moment you overcommit to this, now it's really fucked because you have to base and Trinimir is going to get a plate plus deny you a wave. So yeah, it goes from being like a good roam to being an awful roam literally by like 2 steps forward, you know? Like right now, good
Right.
roam, you got the heal, just like back off, go back mid, it's fine. Now,
Okay.
now it's a horrible roam. Like now you're losing like 300 gold
Right.
for it, basically. It is kind of
Okay.
crazy how like that tiny misstep makes it so bad, but yeah.
Good. Horrible.
Yeah,
That's funny. It's true.
League do be like
Yeah.
that. Okay, this I'm kind of a fan of this. Looking for a little cheese. Like this one I think is not too bad because it's like you know this guy used cooldowns top, so he can probably die, and it's like you don't have to be at this mid wave immediately. Like if you do this play, you can still come back to it. It's not like Trindamir's pushing it. So I kind of like going for this cheese. Yeah, okay, now it's probably done. Maybe? Hmm. If okay, right now, if Mord walked mid, this would actually be fine. Like if Mord goes mid and collects that, and you collect top, then this is actually okay. But if he doesn't, then it's gonna be really fucked. Actually, it just ends up really fucked anyway. It looks like. Oh my god, tragic. I think this is real
Yeah.
depressing.
You know what's insane is like you watch the first 10 minutes of that other game and you're like, oh, this is over, you guys win. You watch the first 10 minutes of this, it's like this is over, you guys lost. We ended up winning this game, we lost the other one.
Yeah,
Like
that's insane.
so
Yeah, this one looks so doomed, man. Like I don't know how you ended up winning this
yeah.
one. And like fed Camille,
I don't
really
either.
fed Trend. Yeah, I think here, I think you probably go for this like cheese right now. I think now that Trinity is showing back mid,
Just
you
back
probably
off.
just turn
Yeah.
around. Yeah, I think it's just too hard. Like catching a Hecarim with Ghost is just not really
Not
possible.
happening
Yeah,
ever.
maybe if
Yeah.
you're, I don't know, maybe if you're Kassadin and Yumi, you could do it, but yeah. So I think
16.
honestly, the thing I'd take away from this game as well would just be that real like focus on the mid wave again, like especially whenever you're making a play, you know, like that bot play or this top play, you always need to be like looking at the mid wave kind of out of the corner of your eye, you know, or just like thinking about it. Like when I'm making this play here, I'm like watching mid wave at the same time, and I'm just like constantly like evaluating at what point do I need to turn around. And then like same thing
Okay.
when you're making the play here. Like okay, right now Trin's not here. You actually kind of have some freedom to do whatever you want for just a little bit. Then like right now
You
looks
scare him
like
off the
he's out.
scuttle and then just
Yeah,
stop. Like
yeah.
just give
Trin's back.
Maokai the scuttle and we leave.
Yeah, and then you just come back here, you grab all that farm, and you don't give these 2 kills. Yeah. So
Yeah.
let me add that to the notepad. Or we kind of already put it. Yeah, how important mid waves are. Yeah, I guess it's already on there. So cool.
So it's the same thing. Okay.
Yeah, pretty much. But I think that should definitely be your biggest thing to focus on. And maybe a way to work on it would be like if you just like skim through the replay on like 8 times speed, if you're ever just giving up a wave, try and like figure out, you know, should I have given up that wave, or was there a way I could have pushed the previous wave quicker, or, you know, could I have played it better to get a kill or something? Just, yeah, try not to give up those random waves for no reason. But if like next time you can come and be like, okay, I gave up that wave because I don't know, because I thought that we could get this kill or something, at least then you have like a justification for it, right? Rather than you didn't think about it at all. I think that's like the big problem.
Okay. Makes sense, man. I appreciate it.
All right, sweet. But yeah, let me know how it goes. I'll be tracking your OPGG. Nah, I'm too lazy for that actually, but yeah, no pressure, no pressure. I do it sometimes, but yeah, anyway, I hope it goes well.
I appreciate it.
All
I'll
right.
get something else scheduled once I feel like I've got a good hang on everything we talked about. So
Yeah, sweet. All right, well, good luck,
sounds
man.
good. Thanks, brother.
All good. See you later.
Have a good night.
You too.
All right. See ya.
Bye.